The NBA playoffs are here. They begin today on Saturday. 4 matchups. Half of the first round game ones go today on Saturday. I'm going to break all 4 of them down for you with full analysis, let you know some playoff recommendations for the series, sides, totals, all that coming up free for you here in just a moment. Hi, this is Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com, back here on WagerTalk TV, and I'm breaking down the 4 games for you here Saturday, April the 20th. Quick reminder, I'll be back with a video for tomorrow on Sunday. I'm going to do every day of the NBA playoffs for the next 2 months. If you're finding these videos useful, comment below and let me know if you want to continue to see them. And also give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and hit the bell for instant alerts so you never miss these daily reports. All right, let's go down and start time order. First game is early at 1 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. Orlando, Cleveland. You know, the one certainty in the NFL playoffs every year is that the Houston Texans are always the early 4:30 Eastern Saturday game. Well, it was pretty much a slam dunk, no pun intended, that the Orlando-Cleveland game, two of the smaller market teams, would be the early game on Saturday, and that's what we have here. But that doesn't mean there's not a good betting opportunity, and I do think there is one in this game. Orlando, great point spread team. In fact, the last couple seasons, they've been the best moneymaker in the NBA. But because of that and the fact that Cleveland was a bit shorthanded the last couple months with injuries, I think this price is a little cheap. I like Cleveland in this game minus the 4.5. I think there is some value with them in game one, and also the series price minus 200. Orlando might be a year or two away still. The only playoff experience recently was the bubble season in 2020 when they got bumped early. And yes, they're an up-and-coming team, but Cleveland still has the star power, especially with Donovan Mitchell healthy. In fact, this Cleveland team's about as healthy as they've been in several months. And when they were healthy a couple months ago, they had one of the best winning streaks in the NBA. So once again, I think the overall regular season numbers are a little misleading. Orlando was a great regular season team, especially against weak teams, but they did struggle in stepping up in class, and it looks like they're stepping up in class here in this one against the Cleveland Cavaliers at 1 o'clock Eastern. All right, next game here on the card goes at 3:30 Eastern. Let's take a look at this one, and that is Phoenix and Minnesota. Interesting line in this game, and I say that because Minnesota is a 1.5-point favorite for game one, yet they're an underdog in the series. We don't see this happen too often, but when it does happen is when the team with home court advantage like Minnesota is considered the inferior team. And the point spread is telling you that in this one because home court's worth about 3 points normally in the playoffs, yet Minnesota's only a 1.5-point favorite. So the odds makers are saying Minnesota likely wins game one. If you look at the money line, they're minus 125. Yet the series price is saying that Phoenix likely wins the series. Hey, comment below. What are your thoughts on this one? Do you agree with the game one price or the series price? And by the way, the series price overall is looking, about 140, minus 140 for Phoenix. So it's a pretty big difference considering they're not going to win game one. And I don't think they're going to win game one. I like Minnesota here minus the 1.5. Now, a couple reasons why Phoenix is favored to win the series. First of all, they're finally healthy with Beal, Booker, and of course Durant all in the lineup. They haven't played together much this season, all 3 of them. And they also dominated Minnesota in the 3 regular season matchups. However, it's a little misleading because the most recent matchup just occurred last Sunday, the final regular season game. And then the other one occurred the week before that on April 5th. And keep in mind, Karl Anthony Towns was out for that April 5th loss. And then he was only his second game back last Sunday as they're continuing to work him into the lineup. So I don't read too much into the 3-0 sweep by Phoenix in the regular season. The other one, by the way, was way back in November. The other two, though, once again, within the last couple of weeks, but Minnesota wasn't quite at full strength. I think they will be here in the playoffs. Now, as far as making a deep playoff run, I do think Phoenix has a chance to go further in the playoffs if they get by this round. Minnesota was close to the 1 seed. They fell a little bit short behind Oklahoma City and, of course, Denver. But I just don't know if they had the long-term experience to make a deep run. But they're a very good defensive team, and they do rate as the better defensive team in this game. In fact, most of the season when healthy, they were the most efficient defense in the NBA, and defense does come to play in the postseason. We've seen the money come in heavy on the under in those play-in games earlier this week, and we've seen it on some of these playoff games as well. And I think this is a situation in which the better defensive team is Minnesota could be a little bit undervalued based on recent results. Minnesota minus 1.5 is worth a look here on Saturday. And look, if they win game one, then they're going to be favored in the series price. So if you do like them, the adjusted series price makes some sense also, as once again, checking the Wager Talk live odds screen, we see that they're anywhere from minus 130 to minus 140. Phoenix the favorite, which means the takeback's plus 120 for the series. Now, what you can always do is put a little bit on the series price at plus money and then a little bit on the minus 1.5 game one to vary it a little bit there to get more of a hedge. All right, those are your first two games, your two daytime games. Both are on ESPN on Saturday afternoon. We also have two nighttime games. I'm going to get to those in a moment. Just a quick reminder, if you're liking these daily quick hitter NBA playoff reports, and do me a few favors. First of all, comment below and let me know if you want to see more of them, and I will keep them coming. I'm going to try to get one to you here later this weekend for the Sunday games. And also, thumbs up, like goes a long way, keeping everything free here on WagerTalk TV. And remember, hit subscribe and hit the bell as well so you get instant alerts when these videos go up each and every day, including this weekend for round one, all the playoff series for the next couple months. Also, if you want my personal best bets, I do have them locked and loaded right now for Saturday, my NBA best bets, and I'm number one all time. Nobody has won more units in the NBA in the history of WagerTalk.com, and I'm number one again this season. Last year, the playoffs, we had 63% against the spread, 29-17, 103-63 on all NBA best bets last year, and I have a huge playoff lineup set to go here on Saturday. Go get them right now, Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com, and be sure to check out the daily free plays as well for basketball and baseball. Free plays every day on my page at WagerTalk.com. All right, those are your two daytime games. Let's look at the two nighttime games. Next one at 6 o'clock Eastern, also on ESPN. The first three games are on ESPN Saturday, and this is a very interesting matchup. The very dangerous 7 seed, Philadelphia 76ers, who would have been a much higher seed had Embiid not been hurt for a couple months, take on maybe the underrated also New York Knicks, who are the 2 seed. It looks like a role reversal. If you told me the season began to be Philly, New York, I think everybody would have thought Philly was the 2 seed. But that's not the case, and the Knicks are actually a very dangerous team, and we have seen some sharp money coming on the Knicks in the series here. In fact, not a lot of public sentiment to walk with in these games. Public is kind of leaning towards all the favorites, all the overs. And by the way, in that Minnesota-Phoenix game, the public is definitely on the over in that one, but that total's actually dropped from 215 down to 214. So maybe a little bit of a sharp square divide on that one. And I think there's also a sharp square divide on the series price here between Philly and New York. Public is back in Philly a little bit on the series, yet we've seen the line go from minus 110 up to minus 120, even minus 125 on the series price for the Knicks. And of course, they should be favored in the series because they're a 3-point home favorite here in game one. And it's also interesting to point out that the Knicks were battling some injuries here the last couple months, but it looks like they're finally getting healthy. They had that 2-for-1 trade with the Toronto Raptors at the end of the year. And from January 1st on, when Anunoby's been in the lineup, this team is 22-6. OG Anunoby, when he's in the lineup, 22-6 straight up, the New York Knicks since January 1st. He is back. He is healthy. Brunson is healthy. Randle is out for the rest of the season. I think that's a positive. I've said for quite a while now, I think Julius Randle is one of the more overrated quote-unquote superstars. I think Jalen Brunson's maybe one of the most underrated superstars. So sharp money came in on the Knicks for the series here. Now, obviously, Philly is a dangerous 7 seed, but I just don't know how healthy Embiid is. Reports out of Philly is he's about 65%. So the question becomes, will he last an entire 6 or 7 game series? I think that's another reason why the best play in this one is the Knicks minus 120 series price, because if Embiid does falter down the stretch here in the next couple of games with some injuries or slows down, that's going to give the Knicks more of an edge. Knicks also the better defensive team here, well coached also, and they're finally getting healthy. So once again, a little bit of a sharp square divide on the series price. Sharp bettors are on the New York Knicks. All right, one more game to go. It's your late game at 8:30 Eastern. Now it's on TNT. First 3 on ESPN. Turning to TNT for the late night game between the Lakers and Nuggets, rematch of last year's Western Conference Finals. And of course, the Nuggets swept the Lakers 4-0. But keep in mind, last year in that playoff series, that the Nuggets won the first 2 games at home by 6 and 5-point margins, but failed to cover both times. In fact, despite 8 straight wins now against the Lakers, 7 of those last 7 games, only 6 of the last 7 have been decided by single digits. So the Nuggets have been winning, but the Lakers have been competitive. With that said, Denver has still covered 5 straight. You have to go back to games 1 and 2 last year in May when the Nuggets won but failed to cover. They have gone 5-0 straight up in ATS since, including all 3 regular season meetings this year, 12, 8, and 10-point wins. So once again, only one of the last 8 have been by more than 10. They did have a 10-point win on March 2nd. Lakers should be focused here, obviously, with LeBron and Anthony Davis healthy, but the Nuggets should be extra focused, especially after not attaining the number 1 seed. They got the number 2 seed, but the betting markets are telling all you need to know. You look at the series price, and they're a huge favorite here. In fact, 4 of the 8 playoff series, we have minus 140 or less, which means the dog has about a 45% chance of winning the series. I just talked about a few of those with the New York Philly series, Minnesota Phoenix series as well. And this Lakers series is not one of them. Denver's about a minus 380 favorite, take back plus 300 in the Lakers. So I'd say the Nuggets have about a 78, 79% chance of winning the series, and I think they will. Question is, do they cover game one? Once again, they won games 1 and 2 last year, but failed to cover both of them. This line opened 6. It has been bet up to 7. Some of the sharper books, though, look like they're starting to go to 7.5. So we do see some sharp money on the Denver Nuggets, the defending world champs. Hard to fade them if they're focused. And, of course, the Lakers, a little bit of a turnaround after having to play the must-win on Tuesday. They have been off now for 3 days. But Denver getting healthy, a little more rested. Keep in mind, though, last year when the Lakers got swept 4-0, that was in the Western Conference Finals. They'd already had to play a couple tough 6-game series before, so they are a little fresher here. So wouldn't be surprised to see them hang maybe in a game or two. But the Nuggets are obviously the preferred side in this series, especially if they are coming off maybe a loss at some point. That would definitely be a good play on them. So just something to keep an eye on going forward, but not much value on the series price at minus 380. All right, that's a quick hitter for the 4 playoff games for you this Saturday, April the 20th. I'll be back. Hopefully, I'll get a video up for you later this weekend on Saturday night into Sunday, time permitting, for the 4 Sunday games. And don't forget to hit subscribe and hit the bell for instant alerts so you know when the next video is up. If you're finding these useful, please let me know in the comments below. I read all the comments. I reply back. I will keep them coming. Hey, include some props. I didn't talk a lot about the NBA props because we had 4 games to get to. As we get deeper into the playoffs, I'll start diving into the props more when there's less games. But I know many of you out there do quite well with player props. So if you see some you like, drop them in the comments below. Include some analysis if you have the time. Let's learn and earn and win together here on WagerTalk TV. And let me know what sides and totals you like on Saturday as well. Hey, some series picks. I gave you several series picks of mine. Let me know yours as well. What are some underdogs you think that can pull the upset? Some plus money series dogs. I think Minnesota's live, obviously, like I said. What are your thoughts? Comment below. I read all the comments and I reply back. Thumbs up, like, and don't forget, if you want my personal best bets, I've got some strong best bets for Saturday in the NBA, also Major League Baseball. Check those out right now, Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. And this weekend is your last chance to buy a 7-day package and get 3 bonus days for free. It's a 10-day package for just $99. That works out to less than $10 a day for the next 10 days and nights of every NBA playoff best bet and Major League Baseball best bet for myself, Steve Merril, at WagerTalk.com. And yes, #1 all-time units won in the history of the NBA at WagerTalk, including #1 once again this season. So it's a great time of the year, the NBA playoffs, a consistent moneymaker for the last 30 years. I've been doing this as a full-time professional handicapper. Don't forget also to follow me on Twitter at Steve Merril, 2 R's, 1 L, at Steve Merril on Twitter and X. Also post free plays throughout the week on Instagram. Follow me in WagerTalk on IG. And once again, comment below if you're finding the videos useful. I read all the comments. I reply back. Don't forget, daily free plays. Each and every day I post a free play as well on my page, Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. Get there quicker with shortcut wt.buzz/SM. Best of luck on Saturday. Enjoy the games. I'll talk to you again soon here on WagerTalk TV. And be sure to stay tuned right here to WagerTalk TV for more great baseball and basketball previews coming up next.